My girlfriend said, choose Vegas or us. I replied, I won't be controlled. Then I booked the flight, saved her threat in a folder, went anyway, and when I got back I moved out, changed passwords, split bills, and sat down with the ex she weaponized. He had proof and a surprise of his own. Original post, I am 32, male. My girlfriend Megan is 30. We had been together a little over 2 years. No kids. We rented a 1-bedroom above a grocery where the delivery trucks backed in at dawn. I work in revenue operations at a software company. Megan works in social media for a health brand. We met at a trivia night. It felt simple at first. My best friend Noah asked me to be best man. His bachelor party was set for Las Vegas. 2 nights. A show, a steak dinner, and a blackjack table with limits that would not make anyone cry. We planned it in a shared note. Flights paid. Hotel booked. Megan nodded through all of it at first. She even helped me roll shirts. A week before we left, she shifted. She started asking what we would be doing at each hour. She said, Vegas brings out the worst in men. I said Noah is not like that. She said, men think that until they are there. The line that stuck came on a Tuesday. We were in the kitchen with a pan of eggs between us. She said, very even, if you go, I will spend the night with Trevor. Trevor is her ex. I blinked. You are joking, I said. She said, I am not. Actions have consequences. I did not argue. I watched her face. It did not look like a bluff. I went quiet in the way I go quiet when a floor tilts under me. I rinsed the pan. I set it to dry. I wrote her sentence in a note so I would not let myself forget it later. I had learned that I will try to round off bad edges if I do not write them square. The next day she sent a follow-up text. You choose Vegas or us. My chest felt hollow and calm. I did not reply right away. I opened a folder on my laptop called Noah Trip. I put the itinerary in it. I added a screenshot of her text, not as fuel, as proof. I told Noah I might sit out. He said, no pressure, I want you there. I also want your life to work. That helped. I went for a run. The decision landed while I watched my breath in cold air. I did not want my life to be managed by threats. I booked the airport parking and checked into my flight. That was my first action, not a fight, a plan. Update 1, the morning I left, I put my bag by the door. Megan watched with her arms folded. Are you really doing this? She said. Yes, I said. Because I do not respond to threats. She said, then do not expect me to respond to you this weekend. I said, we can talk when I get back, not before. On the plane, Noah handed me a pack of mints and said nothing else. We landed at noon. Vegas looked like a stage set. The hotel lobby had a fountain that did not know when to stop. Our rooms were middle floors with carpets that had seen all human moods. We dropped our bags. We ate a late lunch. I kept my phone face down. That night at the steakhouse, Noah introduced a new face. This is Trevor, he said. He is with Liam from work. The name hit strange. I looked up. The man in front of me stuck out a hand. Trevor, he said. He looked sane. He looked tired. He looked nothing like the villain I had drawn in my head. Noah realized. Wait, he said. Isn't that your ex's name? Trevor raised his palms. I heard about a Megan, he said. If it is the same one, I am sorry. We were a mess years ago. We have not spoken in months. He said it like someone paying a bill. No heat. Just done. I kept my voice level. She used your name as a threat, I said. She said if I came here, she would spend the night with you. He went very still. He said, that sounds like her. He asked if he could buy me a soda. I said yes. We stepped aside to the bar. He spoke careful and clean. He said they had dated on and off for 5 years. He said she liked to set tests. He said he had failed many because he refused to play. He said she had told him I was controlling. He pulled up his phone and showed a text from 2 days ago. She had written, if you are free this Friday night, we could talk like we used to. He had not replied. I took a photo with his permission, cropping out numbers. I sent it to my folder. I did not feel rage. I felt a slow relief. It is easier to step away when a pattern is a pattern outside your house too. We joined the group. The night was loud and dumb in the ways a tame Vegas night is. Blackjack for 10 minutes. A show with acrobats who bent in ways I did not want to try. 2 beers, water in between, back to the room by 1. I called Noah's door instead of mine and asked if I could crash on his floor. The carpet was terrible, but the snore in the room was familiar. In the morning, Trevor and I found coffee. We compared notes. He said she had told him I refused to take her to dinners. I showed him 3 reservations I had paid for in the last month. He said she had told him I insulted her job. I showed a text where I had sent her a link to a promotion and you'd crush this. Other men would not have mattered to me if not for the shape they took in her stories. He said, I left because of that shape. I said, I might leave because of it too. We ended up walking the strip like cousins. It felt like an odd friendship born in a lab that thinks irony is a mineral. He was decent. We did not talk about her after we had said enough to build the map. We talked about work, his dog that eats the corners off rugs, my mother's lasagna, and why the sun is too honest in the morning in this town. I flew home Sunday. I put my bag down by the door and felt the way you feel when a test confirms what you already knew. I sent Megan a text. Tomorrow, noon, bench at the park. 30 minutes. She wrote, fine. She added, I did not do anything wrong. I put my phone face down and ate a bowl of cereal. Update 2, I got to the park early. I sat. I watched a dad push a stroller and pretend the baby could understand his very serious talk about ducks. Megan arrived in a coat I had bought her last winter. She looked crisp and sure. You made your choice, she said. Did you have fun? I said, we need to talk about what you said and what you did. I pulled out my note where I had written her line. I read it as a sentence without adjectives. If you go, I will spend the night with Trevor. I slid my phone across with the screenshot from Trevor that proved she reached out. You told a man you might meet him while telling me you needed me to stay to prove love. That is not love, that is control. She laughed once without humor. That is not proof, she said. He probably sent you something fake to ruin us. I said, your pattern is the proof. This is not the first time you set a threat around a plan. It is only the loudest. She tried louder. You do not get to talk about patterns, she said. You are never home on weekends. You always choose your friends. I said, I chose to be best man. You chose to weaponize a name. She shifted to tears that did not reach her eyes. I was scared, she said. Vegas, Noah, the stories. I wanted to feel like I mattered. I said, you would have mattered if you had asked for reassurance instead of punishment. She looked away. So you are done, she said, over a hypothetical. I said, over a threat you intended to make real. I kept my voice even. We are done. I will move my things this week. I will pay my half of rent through the end of the month. I will remove my name from anything you do not use. Please do not contact my family. Logistics by email. You are heartless, she said. You went to a place full of women and you come back judging me. I said, I did not put you in a test. You put me in one. I am stepping out. I walked home. I typed an email to the landlord asking about removing a tenant from a month-to-month lease. He replied with a form. I filled it. I made a checklist. Utilities keys, final walk-through. I put it in a folder called Megan Exit. I called a friend with a truck. He said he would be there Saturday. I did not post. I did not subtweet. I did not tell the group chat. I ordered moving boxes and tape. Megan went loud online. A story said, men who choose Vegas over love deserve what they get. She added a winky face. A mutual sent it to me and asked if I wanted him to reply. I said, no, please let it float away. The mutual sent back a thumbs up and a photo of his dog asleep on its back. I changed my passwords on everything we had ever touched together. I took my name off a food delivery app. I moved my autopay to a new card. I made a list of everything I owned before we dated and everything I had purchased. I kept receipts where I could. Boring work wins. 3 days later, Trevor texted from a number he had given me. She DM'd me a paragraph, he said. I told her to stop. I blocked her. I wrote back, thank you. He sent a photo of his dog eating a doormat. I smiled. On Saturday I moved. Megan had stacked my boxes by the door. She stood with her arms crossed. "So you and Trevor are friends now," she said. "Is that your revenge?" I said. "My revenge is a quiet exit and a working night's sleep." She said, "You will miss me," I said. "I will miss the simple parts, but I like quiet more." She watched me carry a box labeled kitchen. She picked up a bowl and set it in another pile like she needed to move something too. Update 3, 2 weeks later Megan texted. 1 hour, she wrote, "Public place, I want to talk." I set the location, coffee shop on 8th, Sunday, noon, 30 minutes. She came with flat hair and a tired face. She sat. She looked like someone who had told a story so many times it had turned into steam in her hands. "I was wrong," she said. "I used fear like a tool. I told myself I was protecting us. I was trying to control you because control makes me feel safe." I said, "Thank you for saying it." "We can fix this," she said. "I will write a rule, no threats, no tests. I will block Trevor. We can try therapy." I said, "I want a life where those rules are not needed to keep basic respect in place." She blinked. "I miss you," she said. "I miss our mornings with coffee and the grocery line jokes." I said, "I miss those too. I do not miss the part where a plan is a trap." She looked at me like I could hand her a line that turned this back into spring. I could not. She tried small. "Can we at least be friends?" she said. I said, "Maybe later, not now. I want clean air for a while." She nodded. She said, "Goodbye," without drama. I stood. I said it back. Final update. It has been 16 months since the eggs in the pan and the threat in the air. My life is stable in a way that feels like a porch after rain. I moved into a small one-bedroom near the light rail. I keep the counters clear. I put my keys in a bowl by the door. I learned to make a decent omelet. It folds clean if you do not rush it. Work shifted in a way that made room. The Vegas weekend overlapped with a meeting I had almost skipped. Because I went, I met a partner who needed help on a broken forecast. I stayed late the week after the move and fixed it with a simple model and a set of rules anyone could follow. My boss asked me to present it to the exec team. They nodded and asked questions that made sense. 2 months later, I got a small raise and a bigger remit. I like my job again. It helps that I sleep. Trevor and I stayed in touch the way two people stay in touch when they met in odd weather and survived it. We send photos of our dogs and complain about copy machines. We got lunch once. We did not talk about her. We talked about a support beam he needs to fix in his house and a planter I killed by watering it too earnestly. He is a decent man. We are not best friends. We are the kind of people who would show up with a drill if asked. Megan kept posting for a while. She wrote a long piece about choosing herself that got many hearts. Then she posted about therapy. A mutual said she tried to get back with Trevor. He declined. She dated a guy who works nights and posted about how nights are hard. The mutual also said she told people I freaked out over a bachelor party. That is a story that works if you want it. I let it live in rooms I do not enter. A small twist I did not expect happened in spring. The Vegas partner asked if I would lead a training. I made a deck with simple lines and clean charts. I kept the words short because long words do not fix broken systems. I clicked the last slide and looked up to see the room calm in the good way. After a director shook my hand and said I explained things like a person who has had to explain them before, I said, "I have." He laughed and walked away. 2 months later, I met someone at a community cleanup day. Her name is Leela. She works for the city parks department. She can lift a full trash bag the way a person lifts a promise. We picked up broken bottles and more cigarette butts than I knew the city had. We ate pizza after on a curb and talked about dogs we did not own and trails we wanted to walk. On our third date, I told her the short version. My ex threatened to cheat if I went to my best friend's bachelor party. I went. I came back. I ended it. She said, "Good." We built a tiny list we keep in our phones. It has 3 lines. No threats. Ask, don't accuse. If you need a boundary, say it like a boundary, not a dare. People ask where the revenge is. They want a story about catching someone in a hotel lobby or a group text that made the room gasp. I do not have that. My revenge looked like a suitcase zipped, a boarding pass scanned, a quiet seat on a plane, and a calm voice in a park. It looked like leaving a test unanswered so it could grade itself. It looked like a spreadsheet that balanced after I removed a line that did not belong. A nephew asked me at dinner why Megan does not come around. I said, we wanted different ways to solve problems. He said, like erasing or starting a new page, and I said, something like that. He went back to drawing a car with impossible wheels. I kept one thing from that time, not a chip from the casino, not a photo with a showgirl, a small napkin from the plane where I wrote 4 lines in ballpoint in a shaky hand. No tests. No threats. Leave clean. Choose friends who clap for your exits and your returns. It sits under a magnet on my fridge next to a grocery list. It does not feel like a scar, it feels like a map. If you are where I was, here is what helped. Believe the sentence that comes out of someone's mouth when they want power. Write it down. Choose the plan you will respect in a year. Keep your moves boring. Do not argue on apps. Do not give speeches. Pack, pay your part, and go. Let people who like storms live in storms. You can choose weather. I do not hate Megan. I hope she finds peace that does not need a dare. I am grateful for Noah's steady friendship and Trevor's accidental honesty. I am grateful for work that makes sense, a key bowl by the door, and a woman who says what she needs without using someone else's name as a lever. Sometimes, I pass the bar where trivia started all of this. It is just a room with sticky tables and a chalkboard with a joke about soup. A new team sits where we used to sit. They argue about a movie quote and laugh. I wish them a night without dares. I keep walking to my small place where the light is soft and the list is short and the door shuts with a sound that means rest.